What's up guys, Marten here. I finally have some good crypto news for you. Today we've had our first breakout to the upside since this waterfall event started about 2 weeks ago now. But nobody knows if this was the bottom, but in this video we'll see what has happened today and what we might expect in the next coming days. And the coins we will have a look at are Ethereum and EOS, but also today's big winner, namely Tron. So let's get started here with the altcoin short, the multi-year short. And here we can see that we are forming a little bit move here to the upside, but we can barely see it here on this chart. But if we move over to the 3-month short, we can clearly see that we did break out here from this pennant formation we had here. And we did break out to the upside. So really good news here in the very short term. And we've formed a very steep ascending trading channel here. So at the moment we're up around 65 billion. And if we look at the resistance, we do have resistance in this area around 65. But also more resistance up around 70. So keep those numbers in your memory. Now let's look at Ethereum here, the daily short. And here we finally have a positive breakout for Ethereum. It's up 9% today, forming so far a very nice looking candlestick. And we still have 5 more hours for this trading day. But what happened was that yesterday we did close outside of this descending trend line here. And today we got a nice continuation here. So we'll see how this day will end. But hopefully the volume here will increase during these last 5 hours. That would be a positive sign here. And you should also watch the stochastics here. They're still in oversold here, both of them, but here very close to the purple area here. And same thing with RSI, is right now around 30. So it looks like we might go above here today or tomorrow. So what could be next here for Ethereum? Well, likely 130 area, next fib level up here. And we can see the resistance is in this area around 130. And if we can go even higher here, we would aim for this 20-day EMA, the green line, which is right now around 145. So we might meet up here later this week if the bullish momentum will continue. Now let's look at the 8-hour short for Ethereum. And what's happened here is that we have now reached the 20 EMA, and it looks like it wants to move higher here. But will we get a pause here, or will this be a peak, or can we get a continuation? Well, the first thing I will look at here is if we can get above the high from last candlestick at 121. If we were to do that, we'll likely head up here to 127, in my opinion. Also, the stochastics here, the fast stochastic is the highest in 3 weeks. So the last high was over here. So that is some good bullish sign here. And also, I want you to watch this supporting trend line, which is holding so far. But obviously we don't want a breakout to the downside here and lose this trend line. So that's it for Ethereum. Now let's head over here to EOS. So here's the daily short for EOS. And what happened here yesterday was that EOS did make a new low. And that was unusual for because many of the other cryptos went sideways. But what's good here is that EOS did make a new low, and that could actually be positive here in the long term. And I'll show you that here on the weekly chart. So here we can see that this is the current week we're having against the dollar here. And the low yesterday, that was at 287. And if we go back here in the historic chart, we can see here that we do have some support around 291. So we did go down to this long-term support, and this could potentially hold here for the long term. So actually that was a good thing. And let's go back to the daily chart. And I want to mention here that the breakout so far has been rather weak compared to the other cryptos, but that's probably because we made a new low yesterday and now we're trying to catch up here. But we are above this descending trend line, as you can see here, which is great. And we just want to make sure here that we will close this day within 5 hours above this resistance line. Then we'll likely be able to head higher tomorrow as well. But we also want the volume here to go higher, still pretty low here, below average. And we're also still in oversold territory on the stochastics, the white area here, as you can see, and the same thing is true for the RSI. But if we're looking at the upside target here, 380 could be next, and that's up here, this next fib level. So that's the number I'm looking at here to the upside. And if we look at the 8-hour chart, we are pretty close to the 20 EMA, the green line up here, and that's around 340 at the moment. But I want you to watch this supporting trend line right here, because we definitely want to hold this one going up towards the next resistance area around 340 and also 360 and 380. Because if we were to lose it here, we might go down south here and make new lows again. So that's it for EOS. Now let's have a look at today's big winner, which is Tron. It's right now up 30% here, and this is the daily chart. And we do have some high volume here today, which is great, but we want even higher here in order to charge higher and make a long-term continuation move here. But we can see here that we've been close to the 20-day EMA, the green line up here, almost touched it earlier today, and that is up at 0.0165. And if we go back in time, we can see that the resistance is right here. So it's beginning in this area, and then we have another level here, which is also close to the next fib level. So I would say we do have some solid resistance up here, and that would be around $0.018 up in this area. So these are the numbers I'm looking at on the daily chart here for Tron. But let's have a look finally at the 8-hour chart. So here it is. And what's happened earlier here is that we touched the upper Bollinger Band twice here. So we also reached the 50 EMA up here, the blue line here. So potentially this could indicate that we have made a short-term peak. But I want you to watch this very steep supporting trend line here. If we were to lose that one, and if that were to happen, we still have another trend line down here. So these are the two supporting trend lines I'm looking at here. But if you've been into Tron here since the breakout, this could be some good time to take some profits off the table here if you're trading this in the short term. Also, I mentioned here that the RSI, if it does reach 70 or above, that could also be an indicator in order to take some profits. And that's all I have for today, but I want you to have a look at our homepage here, and we can see that NASDAQ do plan to offer Bitcoin futures here in the beginning of next year. So some good news for cryptos. Now let's finish here and have a great day. Goodbye.